Hey everybody, Dan here again with Pain Free You. Today's topic is, what if the doctor was wrong? So before I start, just take a little look at the woods here. Take a few nice deep breaths, get your feet on the ground. Breathe in the peace. Breathe out the stress and the static and the noise. Breathe in the confidence that you know exactly what's going on and you know you're on your way to fixing it. Breathe out the fear and the anxiety. And so, what if the doctor is wrong? You know, and this is not to bash doctors at all. It's just that the medical system has taught doctors and other practitioners to look at the body as a mechanical device, kind of like a car, and fix it, right? So if you've been down any of those physical medical doctors' attempts to eliminate the pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fortunately, I found out about Sarno reasonably early in my journey of pain, so I rejected most of that. But I did have an x-ray where it said degenerative changes in my spine in my early 30s. And first response is, holy crap, if that's there now, what's going to happen later? But I never actually succumbed to an MRI because I heard about Sarno. I said, you know what, that's just going to poison my brain. I don't want to go down that path. And I did physical therapy. I did a lot of chiropractic. Some massage, all sorts of stretching, all sorts of, gadgets, cushions. I had a cushion in my car for over a decade that would help me sit properly, and cushions on my seat. I actually had one of those kneeling chairs. And so I had all these beliefs that even though I knew about Sarno, I still used the gadgets to kind of keep myself comfortable. I can tell you, for me personally, maybe you can agree or disagree, but for me personally, none of that stuff actually helped me. It made me comfortable temporarily, but boy, when I got up or did whatever, I was still hurting bad. So, what if the doctors were wrong about you and your symptoms? What if the doctors, what if the nutritionists forget gut problems? What if the, what if all the pain practitioners were wrong? And I always like to point out that when you have some pain, if you go to like 7 different types of specialists, they're going to recommend 7 different treatments. Well, if the medical system was so exact and their teachings were so perfect, why would you go to 7 different people taught to deal with pain and they all evaluate you and say, here's the problem, but my treatment's what you need? And the other guy, so, no, my treatment is what you need. Go see that specialist. No, my treatment is what you need. And so, how can they all be right? They can't be. Just mathematically, somebody's going to be wrong as to the appropriate treatment for this stuff. And the biggest problem with most of the medical treatment as it relates to chronic pain or even other chronic symptoms is they're always trying to figure out how to turn off the symptom as opposed to address the cause. And as we've talked about recently, the cause is TMS. It's this mind-body syndrome. It's this psychophysiological pain disorder or symptom disorder, right? There's nothing wrong with our bodies. Our bodies are just feeling the unfelt emotional pain. So, I don't know. What if the doctor's wrong? They usually are, because they've not been taught through their wonderful education. They've been taught to fix the body. And so if you have a pain in your elbow, they're going to MRI your elbow. They're going to potentially, if they see anything, they are going to potentially open you up and do surgery on your elbow, which is ridiculous because the pain is created in the brain, right? And so, what if the doctor is wrong? I will say that in the vast majority of cases, their diagnosis is a misdiagnosis because they are diagnosing the symptom, not necessarily the cause of it, because they don't understand TMS. They don't understand Sarno. If they've heard about Sarno, they've dismissed him as a quack, and this doesn't apply to me. I'm a real doctor. I know what's going on. But if that were the case, how come they can't seem to fix us? You know, I talked to a lady yesterday who said she's literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds, over the past 20 years. Hundreds of thousands. And so if the doctors were right, why can't any of them fix you? It's because they're trying to treat the symptom. So I will encourage you, if you've been told anything from your doctors, I don't care what type of doctor, what type of symptom, if you've been told anything by your doctors and they haven't had the ability to fix you yet, please drop their diagnosis, and particularly their prognosis that there's no cure or you won't get better, it'll get worse over time, all that crap. I will encourage you to drop that and simply say, well, what if they're wrong? What if this TMS stuff, what if this mind-body stress illness stuff is what's going on and my body's just the innocent bystander being blamed on the problem? So what if the doctor's wrong? Do you really want to hang on to their diagnosis, and even more so their prognosis, that you're going to have a problem forever? I don't think you want to, because their track record for most of us in this community, and therefore most of us in chronic pain, I think there's something like 50 to 100 million people in the US with chronic pain. Now that number is very inexact because there's no reporting on the people who have just decided to live with it. They're just dealing with it. But hundreds of billions of dollars a year are spent on chronic pain just in the US alone. That couldn't be the case if they knew the answer, if they knew what was causing it and knew how to fix it. So please, if you're holding on to something your doctor told you, you've got nerve damage or this is nerve pain and you're different, and don't convince yourself that you're different from everybody else because, oh, Sarno wrote about back pain, so that doesn't apply to me because I've got X, Y, and Z symptoms. Now, again, if your doctor knew what they were talking about and was correct about the original cause, which we believe is TMS, then they would have fixed you long ago. So sometimes TMS is the only thing that makes sense. So if you're holding on to and can't seem to forget something awful that a doctor told you about yourself and your body, strongly I'm going to encourage you to stop thinking about that diagnosis or prognosis from the doctor. What if they're wrong? They probably are. And that's proven by how many people get better from TMS. So with that, I love you guys and gals, and I will talk to you in the next video. See ya.